This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
I had always wanted children. 3, actually. But February 26, 2012, changed that. By that time, it was no secret that I had resigned to not having them. While institutional harassment, the psychological toll of my work, and an ominous sense of impending doom had pretty much cemented my resignation. It was Trayvon's death, Sabrina's fight, and the way they echoed Emmett's lynching and Mamie's crusade that solidified it. Sabrina's demand that we see and claim Trayvon's life as a life that mattered echoed Mamie's demand just 57 years prior. There was no way I could be like Mamie or Sabrina. No way I could not collapse and die on sight. No way I could not light up the retreat. No way I could keep on fighting. I knew that I was not that kind of woman. I lacked the constitution for it. I had children in mind when the cop car stopped me that night. It was May 20, 2014, a month after my 33rd birthday. The day had begun like any other day. I ran through my morning routine and headed out to catch the light rail to campus. I was on S College Ave, following the makeshift walkway that construction had laid out for pedestrians. A new building, the College University Commons, was going up, and while College Ave had been open to motorists earlier that morning, road closed signs had made the space between 6th and 5th Avenues a pedestrian-only thoroughfare. I followed the makeshift walkway that directed us to cross the street and had already stepped off the curb when a car entered the corridor. I waved to signal that someone was crossing and pointed to the road closed signs behind me and behind the car. It was clear that the driver hadn't seen either. He stopped when he saw me, but made no attempt to turn around. I gestured again to the road closed sign behind me before asking the driver if he wanted to turn around or if I could keep crossing. He placed his elbow on the windowsill, but the car remained still. I gestured again while asking, "Do you want to make a U-turn or can I cross?" But he just sat there, motionless. It was late. I was hungry, and I figured that he'd seen me enough to both stop and recognize the road closed signs, so I resumed crossing the street. It was the way he stopped me that made me think of children. Abruptly, forcefully, alarmingly. He had not been that far away, but he had thrown on the siren and raced up the street as if I were on fire. I was confused and initially thought he was racing to share news of some incident up ahead. The car stopped just at my torso, his elbow steady on the sill. "Do you know the difference between a street and a sidewalk?" "What?" "Do you know the difference between a street and a sidewalk?" Children came to mind because I knew that there was no one waiting for me at home. No child whose survival depended on me capitulating and murdering my own spirit. There was only me. Just me. And sure, family would say there had always been signs. That time alone in the desert had only exacerbated some maddening wish for death. But my mother knew my spirit and mind, and I knew that she would understand. I only prayed that she would forgive me for making her into the Sabrina I myself had feared. I leaned back, took a breath, and spoke my piece. "Do you always accost women in the street like this and speak to them so rudely and with such disrespect?" While in jail, I thought about those who had not made it this far. About those who